Good afternoon. How y'all doing?
Hello, Mr. Hall.
All the woman Keisha Gibson Carter, and we got Jimmy J.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hall. How you doing?
All right. Jimmy, well, I tell you,
Oh
we're going to
man.
have a live show today. I don't know
Oh,
where Mr. Robert Bryant is. I don't know whether he fell back to sleep or had an emergency or something. We hope all is well with it, but we're going to continue on. Mr. Bryant has the run a show in our agenda for today, and so we're gonna make do with what we got and make it happen. Um, these are my two co-hosts today, and I'm sure that they'll fill in just fine wherever uh, the vacant spot is at. So we got a lot to cover off of what we want to talk about since we don't have his run a show. We're gonna talk about what we want to talk about.
hey man, let's
This
run the show.
That's right. It's about 5 or 6 days. So Robert, you ain't here. So we're gonna take over and make it do what it do. We're gonna take over and make it do what it do. First up, uh, everybody, hold on. Let me, you know, get things in order. Everybody already know who Jay Jones is or Jimmy J is. They don't know who Jimmy J is, but they know who Jay Jones
I don't
is.
know who Jimmy J is. Can I have an introduction, please?
Yeah, give us an introduction for Jimmy J. And then Alderwoman, you can go next and
Hey,
tell us.
hey, what
Go
what
ahead.
I decided is go back to a old '90s cliche model. I think Outkast did it best. What they did was every time they came with a new concept or idea, they came up with a new name. So today I'm Jimmy J. I'm probably gonna be Jimmy J for a couple of months. I'm gonna create as many names as I possibly can before they try to put me in one of them little jackets and say and commit to being crazy because Jimmy J is about telling the truth. And Jimmy J he comes with a militaristic mentality. That's the one that Julius Hall and Keisha Gibson Carter and all y'all good sound body mind folk like to see. Y'all don't like the polished J. Jones who you know is politically correct and all that stuff. So Jimmy J is here to save the day so he won't be politically correct as far as what needs to go on. I hope I gave you a good enough synopsis of what Jimmy J is all about. Peace out, people.
Hey, boy, I tell you, I don't know
It,
whether you can follow that one.
it sounds like we are going to be quite entertained today. Listen, I'm glad you know that the multiple names and personalities brings you very close to getting locked down. So, for the sake of Keisha and my namesake and my dear friend who loves Taco Bell,
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to know I'm here to help. I'm here to help. I want to help protect the nest. Listen, hello Savannah. I'm Keisha Gibson Carter, your Alderwoman at Large for the city of Savannah, and I'm so happy to join you all here on this platform today to answer any questions and to uh, talk politics and talk about what's going on here in our city, and hopefully this will encourage our citizens to engage and become a part of the political process.
Oh, shucks. Okay. Our first subject, y'all know y'all two can talk. And when Jimmy J get all excited, shit, I can't shut him up. Jimmy J a bad boy. When he go off, he just go off. And when the other woman, I know she just come prepared off. So our first subject is the new arena naming and contract. We're going to talk about that. So I just don't agree with the name. I thought the name should have been we should have put somebody's name up there like Floyd Adams Arena or something to signify the city and how far we've come in this city that brought us this far. I thought that it could have been the MLK arena. It could have been anything other than uh, the naming rights for Inmark. And the contract, I have a problem with that contract also. I thought when they first said that they were giving the contract to a private contractor, I thought that it was asinine and stupid. And I still think that today. So what say you?
Now, Julius, I'm gonna tell you this now. Y'all not gonna like what I'm about to say. I'm gonna tell you this now. Y'all not gonna like what I'm about to say, but I'm just gonna say it out of culture, out of respect. I see pros and cons on both sides of that kind of fence. Number one, I don't see a problem in Mark name being on it. I see a problem that it wasn't disclosed in true transparency across the board to everybody who was involved in it. And the other piece is money. Anytime you talk about money, money runs the world, and until we get the right people in play to change that narrative, money is going to always dominate the cycle. With that being said, I don't have my problem with the naming of it is they should disclose all the factual information behind why the naming got done. And it should have been brought to the city council because that is a city building. Everybody on city council should have had a right to say yay, nay, ugumbe. Now, I know why they did do that because they knew they would have been met with all kind of opposition and everything like that under the sun. And like my good friend the right said, cash is king. And until we change that process, hey, we have to understand why we got bamboozled, ran them up, led astray. Now, if we want to talk about something, we can talk about how some of these contracts that went to that arena before the arena was even finished being a thought. That should have been something we should have been talking about. But as far as the naming of the building, yes, I'm not the biggest, happiest person about it being the Inmark Arena, Inmark Center, whatever you want to call it. But it's no different than how they name major places throughout this whole country. Being a sports fan, I see it. Do I like it? No. I gotta either do one or two things. I can become a billionaire so I can have it named after me, or find a way to make sure that the system is more transparent than what it is. And I told you wouldn't mind not. I hate that you started with this conversation because man, you're giving Jimmy J a bad name right now because Jimmy J is not gonna be liked for what he just said. But I'm just telling you what my heart says.
All right, Jimmy J. Alderman, what's your take?
It's okay, Jimmy J. Thank you for weighing in. With regard to the naming of the arena being the in market arena, uh, first and foremost, I'm embarrassed to say that I really don't know much more than what the public knows because we were only notified of the naming event 2 hours prior. And so one would only have to think about it for a little while to figure that possibly was deliberate because of the name selection. One, we are essentially foregoing the opportunity to have an arena named after MLK, which is already named. And so if our council had the opportunity to weigh in, we probably could have come to a happy medium in that it could have been whatever the sponsor's name at the MLK arena. You know, it doesn't have to be an all or nothing scenario, which is oftentimes how this government is run here in Savannah. We do not do a good enough job in striking a fair balance between the haves, the have nots, the winners, and those who are having things taken away from them by the winners. In addition, my other point is the fact that we signed a pledge as newly elected officials to become a green community. And it is the goal uh, with that resolution to garner as many local businesses and residents to uphold that goal as well as align themselves to help us achieve that goal. So, how does naming the city's largest construction project in its history, how does that align with naming her arena after an oil company when we are supposed to be a green community? So again, when you're not giving consideration to the talent, and the fact that when you're not giving consideration to the talent of other elected officials on our council, and you're not giving consideration to the fact that we have a vast knowledge base, we all bring a special and unique set of circumstances to the table. When you do not give us an opportunity and you close us out with whole information, it doesn't give us a good job to sort of survey these pieces with our public and help them weigh in. That's the purpose of the district representatives. The district representatives are supposed to represent the voice of the people on council. And when you don't have that as an opportunity, this is what we get.
And you know what? I agree 1,000, 2,000% of what you just said, because the simple fact is, all y'all were elected by the people to serve the people. And what I'm seeing more and more often than most is only certain areas are still being represented on city council. And because of that, those certain areas will get the larger portion of what needs to be decided as far as decisions going on in our community. And with fact of, you got two people who represent the totality of Savannah, Georgia, along with the individual who is in that area, and their voices are not being heard. That's a slap in the face in itself.
That's correct.
So I want to be clear that I'm not. When I say what I say, I understand the bigger terms of it. The sad part about our community is we stifle conversations because we got agendas that we got to deal with on promises we made years ago. And it's sad that the individuals who are at the head of these decisions are the same individuals who have been at the table far too long. And guess what? They get a buddy pass from half the citizens in our community because they don't have a goddamn clue of what really goes on in government. All they see is the fact that, oh, well, he must be for us because he's the same color as us. Look here, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. We say this all the time, and you know what? I'll protect you because you the elected official, but guess what? I ain't owned by nobody. Ain't nobody gonna tell me what to say or do. Even R.G. Bryan, who done showed up to this show, can't tell me what to do. And I had to put him on pause. That was just giving the introduction Monday. That RG only on Monday, and I'm off on Monday. That's why he can do that. But I understand and I support everything you just said. I just wish that we had a clear-cut, true transparency, accountability, and open-minded civic government here in Savannah, Georgia, because black people have been left out the equation far too long. And when are we as black people going to wake up and say enough is enough?
Well, and to your point, with regard to the transparency piece, the district alderwoman, Bernetta Lanier, she did not have knowledge of this as well.
I said y'all two at large, and then the person who even represents that area did not know.
Right. But to that point, also, even more egregious, I should say, is the fact that you have this monstrosity that is encroaching upon three of the most vulnerable neighborhoods in Savannah: Cloverdale, Carver Village, and Brickyard. Mm-hmm. The least we could have done is galvanize that community, being that they have to see this day in and day out as they drive through their corridors, recognizing that this project is going to provide for so much invasion to the neighborhood by way of environmental health, traffic, and the threat of gentrification.
But Alderwoman Keisha,
why not include them?
Before you go too far, because I'm gonna let you finish your statement. Doesn't one of them live in one of those communities and the other live in one of those communities? And what I mean, the county chair lives in one and the mayor lives in another of those three communities you spoke of, right?
Yes, Chester Ellis lives in Carver Village and Dan Johnson lives in Cloverdale. And so these individuals were also at the table when this contract was put together. And this is what I want citizens to recognize. You know, things have become so polarizing where our service is concerned. There has never been a time in the history of our local government that people are so in tune to what's going on. I am proud of the fact that people now actually know when the council meetings are. They know what an agenda is. Albeit the agenda process has been hijacked, they know what that is. They know who their district representative are. They know the basic tenets of our municipal government, and that is in large part due to the fact that we have arrived. And in our arrival, we have given an appearance that makes people feel like they are a part of this local government, they are a part of community, and we have dialed down the information in a way in which we can offer a narrative that everyday lay people can understand, and we're not deliberately talking over their heads and hiding information. That's never happened before. So you have to ask the question, why didn't Mayor Van Johnson once Alderman Johnson? Why didn't Chester Ellis once Commissioner Ellis? Why were they not as vocal as we are when it comes to these pieces? I know we get a lot of ridicule and critique about our passionate display, but I tell people, you did not send us to Sunday school. I wish it were a scenario where we could actually work in harmony and not have to have so much contention when it comes to issues. But look at what plays out on our national stage and on our state level where politicians are concerned. They don't get along. And they don't get along and they have issues because they're not on the same team. And so we are in a place where I'm not on the same team. I'm sent to the cesspool of City Hall, and I can't go to that gunfight with a butter knife. I have to use all of the tools within my arsenal, given the fact that many of the tools that I should have access to as an elected official have been stripped away from me. So we're doing the best we can with what we have, but we're also demonstrating that previous leadership, they had the opportunity to offer expressions of what we are doing right now, and that's not done. Citizens today know way more about local government than they did 16 years ago. And so the money piece, Jimmy J, you're going to mess me up because what I'm not going to do is get caught up in trying to figure out who you are on any given day. That's not going to happen. But what
Jay is consistent now. Jay is consistent in all the names now, so you can just say Jay and you got it covered. Boy, I'm gonna have to go ahead.
I'll be safe. Okay. Jay, the thing that we have to look at with the financial piece, I get what you're saying about we got to get our money situation in order to be able to compete and come to the table. That's a whole nother show. But what we also have to recognize is that there were a slate of us that ran on the theme, no more business as usual and no more status quo politics. So by virtue of that fact, if the majority on council could have upheld that theme, the arena could have been named what we wanted it to be named.
So let me jump in here now. What broke the status quo no more mentality?
The fact that we have citizens who, you mean?
You know what broke the status quo no more status quo mentality? See, you and my sister Alicia Blakely, y'all didn't get capsulated by the money. Some other folk got capsulated by the money. And so the money played a big part in all this conversation. So when you talk about it, you got to talk about the money. Now, Keisha, you got a heart where you don't need the money. Now, mind you, I'm not saying we don't need money. We need money to survive. I promise you, I went downtown to try to pay my electric bill last week. And when I went down there and said, hey, I got a pretty smiling, they still wanted that little money to pay that, or they were going to cut my electric bill off. So we understand, and I get it. We sent everybody to Savannah to support the idealistic mentality of those people who are forgotten, downtrodden, everything else under the sun. And then some people hit that first step and they saw that gold dome and they thought part of that gold dome they can put in their pocket and they can make money for themselves. So they forgot about the people that was behind them that they put out there in support, and they went after the money.
Okay, so Jimmy J, we have been saying that as newly elected officials now for the greater half of, I would say probably we noticed this about...
Y'all ain't even newly elected no more. Let me go ahead and put that in your head. Okay, y'all elected now.
Okay, so within 15 months of, within the first 3 months of our term, we saw that dynamic played out. And we keep saying that, and we've been saying it now for about 15 months. As a former elected official, I want you to help me because I'm still trying to figure it out because I haven't been taken yet. I haven't been taken yet. But because you were around it and you saw it and you can see the evidence of it, just for our listening audience, because we just keep throwing this bait out there for chumming the water. Tell the citizens, what does a payout, sold
Kickback.
out, or being on the take? Give us an example of what that looks like, because I know in my mind what it looks like, and I have seen a little bit of evidence of some of it, but I just want to be certain.
The key word. No, no, Jules. Let me go and put it.
Any, not the
No, no,
any.
no, no. I know. Keisha know I ain't took no money. That's why I'm not elected now. Come on, man. That's easy. I'm not elected right now because I never got in on the tape. If
Okay.
I got in on the tape, I'll be elected. They love Jay Jones. Don't get me wrong. They know Jay Jones smart. But you know what else they know about Jay Jones? Jay Jones gonna keep it real. He gonna ask those questions. They don't want people like me to ask questions. They want somebody who, yes sir, no sir. They want the foghorn leghorn. That's the mentality they want up there in them seats. They don't want somebody who gonna tell the truth, who gonna play policy, who gonna maneuver the numbers behind closed doors. They don't want that, Keisha. They want Negroes to be right where they at, in their place. And when you're not a Negro who's in your place and you're not accepting the bribes and everything like that, then that's who they want. Now, to answer your question, what does that look like? I mean, shoot, all you gotta do is look at your local elected officials and how we keep getting all these things that keep taking away from black communities and keeping the money in one certain community, and we take pictures with them. We go out and show up with them, and guess what? They're so shy that they don't even want to be around us. Because guess what? They didn't just show their hands today. They've been doing this the whole time. So I'm trying to get an understanding of we all know what it looked like to sell out. We all know what it looked like to be on the opposite side. People got to wake up and understand when their communities are being sold out. And the best way you do that is you learn what policies, you learn what objectives, you learn what strategies are being done against you, and stop selling the play at the Lego table when the table you eat on is a table you need to be seated at. I don't know how else to say it.
Dr. Brian.
Well, as Jay was talking about that, and I think Alderman was talking about regentrification. You talk about policy and how things are allowed to happen. I don't know if y'all been down MLK where the newest police barrack is located.
Get used to saying this now, Brian.
Huh?
Get used to saying this now. West Broad Street. Go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
Hey, right there by that shoes. Do y'all know there's a development going up, a huge luxury apartment development, and what's scary is it's encroaching right on the edge of those historic black neighborhoods that the Alderman was talking about. And so when you start talking about thinking about policy, you think back, well, this had to have been approved maybe 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 years ago, and who's approving it and who's getting a kickback. And as a little bird told me, who bought some property around a new arena for when it's developed. I'll leave that where it is. So anyway, but when you start thinking about all that, it's sad that people will put profit over people. And I think we see a lot of that as we, look at elections and time to get reelected. And people got to start, like you said, Jay, people's got to start stopping, looking, and see who actually advocated for you and who actually sold your behind down the river and benefited for themselves. That's it.
Okay.
How Chris Brown do that skiing dance? I don't know how you do it, but
Well,
hey,
this contract was just the most. I mean, I looked at. I said, why would they give this to an outside contractor? We done spent $200 million on it. Now
yeah.
you're giving somebody else a chance to make money off it, and then give you a little bit of it.
But
That's what.
Julius, we keep putting the people back in play that sell us out, sell us away, and we just keep giving them opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Julius, they come before us when it's time for election. Oh, I'm so sorry about forgetting about you the last 3 years, but I promise you, I'm going to start looking out for you. And then
Look,
guess what, Julius?
look,
January 1st come and we sell them behinds out just
look.
enough again.
Show up to that frat meeting then.
Yeah, it's
I'm
crazy. It's crazy, brother Brian.
Thank God I ain't got no frat brothers in these positions.
you so messy. Oh, you a messy something, boy. I tell you.
You said it. I just followed it up, brother.
Y'all gonna let Jay do me like Jimmy J.
Jimmy J. Jimmy J. He done did it. Put y'all two up top.
But all the woman Keisha, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
I promise you, I believe with you 100%. But what I want us to start doing is I want us to start doing more strategic thinking, more planning among ourselves, because our people are the quickest, blindest people to be led down the slaughter, and then we're reactive, and that's what I'm sad about. If I had anything I would be mad more of, we're a reactive people. We're not a proactive people. We're not a definitive people. We wait until the building, the monument is put up, and then that's when we want to cry loud. And I'm not saying this about you, all the woman Keisha, because I know you are a strategic thinker like no other. Because even when I even have the phone calls with you and we talk, I gotta think before I even have that phone call with you. Because I know you already got a question that you already got the answer, but you gonna put that, because that's the kind of people we need in play. And the problem is, Keisha, the biggest issue you got is you're calling the question that we've had 30, 40 years of African Americans sitting in some of these seats that never ask these questions. And Keisha, like you said, as a former elected official, I sat there, called that stuff out, and guess what? I am sitting in my chair at my house as a non-elected official, because you know what? I was the one calling it out. And for the record, the person who is sitting in that chair, the person who is the cousin of somebody on this screen, the person who is a cousin of somebody on this screen, he would sit there and goes out in the community and says this right here. He says it. He can take a step off the pitch all he wants. He says this. Y'all better not follow up, Jay, with all that progressive talk. That has been brought to me, Keisha, at least 15 times by 15 different people. Y'all better not follow up, Jay, with all that progressive talk. Y'all better not follow Jay with all that change in the community and all that other progressive thought. What have I said that's wrong for them to keep coming back to me and say that stuff? But you know what? I wasn't going to say all that. And I'm not going to say Chester's name on this thing, because I ain't going to talk about Chester the Alpha on this platform, because Chester the Alpha don't deserve to be talked about on this platform. Julius had his hand raised. I'm about to go back to mute.
Listen, one or two things. All those people, what they're going to have to realize after a while is that this is the new news for our community.
Yeah.
This is where you're going to get it from. We don't read the Savannah Morning News. We hardly watch TV unless just for the headlines. So we don't watch the rest of that. So we're not watching the commercials or nothing else that come on there. You're going to get your news from us. This is where it's coming from. Ain't a damn thing you can do about it. You replace me, somebody gonna take my place, because we know what it is now, and we know what we have to do. We have a call. King Carl the second said, two of them said, he said two of them said once they got elected, they're not activists anymore, but elected officials. Now this is something right here.
Van said that.
You say Van? Oh,
well, that would have been 20 years ago then if Van said that.
Yeah, a lot of them forget, their identity as well. So I mean, I'm not surprised at that statement.
Yeah. Hey, this is one I need y'all. This is one. All y'all know this gentleman. This is my friend. Love it. But we tried to tell you this here, Rick. Y'all read this here, then y'all start talking about it.
I read it. I almost feel like I shouldn't be here. Sadly, I am white and feel unheard. The council must come together for the sake of all of Savannah. Yeah, I see you, Rick.
Wow.
I see you, Rick. But Rick, I'll say it if nobody else will say it, because I ain't elected no more, so I'll say it. Rick, you play both sides of the fence. And Rick, you sometimes come down on people before you even find out the truth from both sides. And I can say that with affirmation because I done seen you do it before, Rick. Rick, I think you're a good, awesome person. I think you have a great heart and everything like that. However, sometimes you don't take it to allow opinions or issues to hit the table full force before you make a decision or before you judge a situation individual. And I can say that with affirmation because I got emails and text messages to prove what I just said. And so, Rick, I applaud your efforts and your time and efforts of what you want to do for Savannah. But unfortunately, because Keisha ain't going to say it, I'm going to say it for her. And you keep yourself on mute. Unfortunately, Keisha, Alicia, and all of them are the voices of reason. They're the voices of the people. And unfortunately, it's going to always be a catastrophic situation because if you're trying to give those people who have been voices for so long a voice and action, and it's still trying to be soundbite and broken in control, you're going to have what we have in this society. And so what I see right now is healthy conversation. Unfortunate thing is leadership has not said we all need to have this conversation, sit in the room, yell, scream, holler, fight, and do everything under the sun, and still to start deciding that we need to be talking about the people. And I know Keisha's unmuting herself. She's scratching her head, so I'm going to mute so she can go ahead and finish her statement.
I mean, and to your point, Jimmy J, you're right. I mean,
she liked Jimmy J. I told you she liked Jimmy. She liked Jimmy J. See?
Y'all need to
You're right because this platform gives us an opportunity that we otherwise would not have. And Rick, had it not been for this platform, you would not know the dynamics associated with the challenges we face as we try to push the agenda of groups like yours, as we try to push the agenda of the vulnerable communities. I mean, we can argue approach all day long. Okay, yes, I get it. Rick, I don't know how your position as a white man has anything to do with your statement, but I will tell you that quite possibly because you brought that up as a Black woman, I feel like we face some of the challenges that we face because it's not palatable to hear us speak with power and authority. It's not palatable to hear us offer our passionate displays on issues because it's not common practice. It's not a theme that has been known. Even though we have made great strides as a people, as a gender, as a race, there is still that dynamic that when you sit on the platform that I sit on twice a month and you speak from a position of power, passion, and you are matter of fact about an issue, it makes some people cringe. Some people are not comfortable with that. Even people who look like me, Black women, have a level of discomfort. A part of that is self-hate, and a part of that
Yes.
is the
You said it.
traits of commonality
I
where
said it,
they
mama.
themselves have been subjected to being subservient. And my pastor often says that people who resent you resent the fact that you represent something that they are incapable of doing. And so I get that. Do I rest there? Do I worry about that? No. Does it bother me? Yes, it's painful because as I stated, it oftentimes, more times than none, it comes from people who look like me. So what do? You have to keep your focus and you have to stay married to the mission and to the message that you ran on. And in doing that, you cannot give regard to re-election. People have warned and cautioned that you may not want to do that because folks are going to hold this, that, and the third against you when it comes for election season. Well, first of all, election season is over 2.5 years from now. I can't worry about 2.5 years from now when I'm trying to get through today. Secondly, and most importantly, I am not serving to get reelected. I'm serving for this present age. I'm serving for 2021 so we can get some stuff done. And in 2022, it's going to still be about you, the citizens of Savannah. In 2023, then we can talk about me. But ultimately, it's going to be my choice because I know my worth. I know my value, and I know without a shadow of a doubt that I have given Savannah the best of me for 25 years. And why anybody in their infinite wisdom would give consideration to the fact that I came to City Hall after a stellar record of performance and a great tenure in multiple continuums, why I would come to City Hall and all of a sudden not be able to negotiate, network, collaborate, build consensus. Really, it when you and it bothers me, Jimmy J, that people just don't think. We are so quick to react on what's in front of us as opposed to giving consideration to the fact that this person is not crazy. Look, we really haven't acquired anything close to affordable housing. Look, we really haven't done anything about homelessness. Look, we haven't done anything about crime in our community. So as opposed to tackling the bigger, larger issues, people would rather be a fan and a friend of their politician than to hold them accountable. And from our faith leaders to our business leaders to our residents, we have to get over this whole notion that close proximity to politicians by way of relationship, friendship, and kinship, the fact that he or she played piano at my daddy's church,
Man, stop using
or
my stuff.
my grandmama taught
Stop using my stuff.
my
That was like a, that was like a joke.
I'm
my
messing with you,
grandmama
Keisha.
my grandmama taught him when he was in kindergarten. Come on, people. Is that really worth your health and safety? Is that really worth the security in your neighborhood? Is that really worth creating economic drivers in your neighborhood? No. And people know. You can ask Meg Heath and Larry Chisholm. I
All
have no
day.
respect of friendship or kinship when it comes to issues and you doing what's supposed to be right by the people. We have to get over. I can't be so much in bed with you that I actually earned a paycheck. I earned a paycheck because of somebody else's deficiency. And the least I can do is when I show up on the job, the least I can do when I show up on the job is do my job, right?
Hmm.
I'm earning a paycheck doing what I do at Savannah,
Man, and
City
that ain't,
Hall.
and I can tell you right
It's
now
some,
that
I'm
that
earning
ain't
some big money.
that ain't no real
Listen,
paycheck either.
I want
That
y'all
ain't no
right
real
now to
paycheck either.
like,
To
share,
talk
share,
about
share. I want you to like, share, 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 because this is breaking news right here. I have never been so compensated at the level of which I'm being compensated now in any work that I've done.
Ever,
Ever.
ever,
And I
ever,
want
ever.
drum
That's what
roll,
I was
please.
just
Drum,
about to talk about. That's
drum
what I
roll,
You know
was
you're
please.
getting rich.
it is crazy because I mean, serious. That's what I. When you got through, I was just about to talk about that.
Please tell me when
People,
the
open
numbers
your
go up. When the numbers
eyes.
go up, I'm gonna tell people my salary.
All
Open
right,
your
we're gonna wait till we
eyes.
get 100 viewers.
Open your eyes and open your ears.
I'll tell you your salary right now if you want me to.
Hold on 1 minute. Hey, listen. This is what I was just about to say before you say that. You're making $25,000 a year. This is no money. It's
Hey,
no
hey,
money. People are
Julie,
doing it out of passion to
Julie,
help you, and you don't
Bishop Hall
understand
talking
that.
to.
That's the problem. The
Julius,
biggest job in corporate work makes $8,000 a damn year. You think I'm doing it for a paycheck?
Julius. That's why I ran for county commission, not city of Savannah, because we get $26,000. We get an extra $1,000 in Chatham County. I had to take that chance. Hey,
Hey, at least you can go to Publix and not Kroger.
You probably would be mayor, Jay. You would have had a good chance at mayor if you were the sixth district representative for the city and then ran for mayor.
but my wife wouldn't be able to move me out to beautiful pool out here where I live at now.
No, I mean before you became county commission,
I
you should
know,
have
yeah,
run for
yeah.
state.
Rick responded back to y'all. Let me get these other ones first.
He said, Rick said, thank you, Jay and Keisha. I feel like you might miss the point. I have been in the room with both of you. I do try to work hard to unite all of Savannah. I have tried, but false comments like the two you. Anyway, back to the news.
All right.
Rick is a nice guy, and I really feel bad because I know. It is a good feeling to be a part of the winning team. I get it, guys. I get it. Everybody wants to fly close to the flame. Everybody wants to be on the winning team. But the realization that you are now on the team that includes a loser is painful. It hurts to recognize that you have been led down this road, and all of a sudden, you now are like, can this be now? I have to save face.
But
But you
but
can't
but what
let
what determines winners and losers, Keisha? What determines winners and losers? Because see, that's the problem we got to really identify. Because see, what's being seen is what's foreseen as being winners is really losing in certain communities.
hmm
People think that the Embark thing that we talked about beginning this conversation is a win for Savannah, but it
hmm
is a loss if you really look at how it was done and how it was
Well,
developed.
it's more of a loss for
It's a win for
Cloverdale,
somebody's pocket.
Brickyard,
But what I'm saying, Keisha, somebody out there is perceiving it as a win. They
yeah.
even taking pictures as a win.
hmm
They even doing everything as a win. But
hmm
really, who's winning and who's losing is the point what I'm
Well,
asking.
well, we're hopeful that it's a done deal now. People need to know that while the contract for the arena was brokered before our term, the contract for this naming for this sponsor was not done before our term. That was done on our watch. That was done just months ago, recently. And you have to ask the question, why were you all not informed? Why were you
Right.
not included in the process? And I get it. I get it. I get it. It's between two private entities, but God doggone it, this is our city. you
Can
you
can
can't have anything like that happen in our city without us having some acknowledgement. And while we
Right.
probably contractually didn't have a say, you can't underestimate the fact that our political influence and our political will could have made a difference in having that be in market at MLK Arena.
what about this? Recently I happened because I keep up with these things. The housing authority. Recently we had two people added to the housing authority. I know one of them, but I didn't never see in any minutes or any meeting where y'all made the appointment of people onto the housing authority. Is this
No,
true?
the mayor single-handedly, unilaterally, and
And self-imposed unanimously.
seemingly
Yeah.
anonymously
And self-imposed
identified and
unanimously.
elected. Yeah, he did that all on his own. But it's the consistent theme with our tyrannical style of government. And it is what it is. And this doesn't, and people will say, well, why don't you all talk about this behind closed doors? What good is it going to do? What
Exactly.
good is it going to do to talk about it behind closed doors when this person is hell bent and determined to do things his way? He's demonstrated that. He demonstrates it in your own life with the mask mandate. He demonstrates it with businesses, telling them how they should, conduct themselves. All of this stuff is just, but, people have a choice. And if this is what they want, continue to stay silent. But we are one voice and one vote, and so we will not be able to make a difference unless you all mobilize, engage, and rise up. And so the things that have really made the difference in our community are those things that are consistent with when you see groups like our anti-plastics advocates. They rose up collectively, they made a demand to council. The Weeping Time Coalition, I would imagine the decision, while it is what it is, it would have been made months ago. But because they rose up and mobilized, we
Yeah.
still have some skin in the game, and we're still hopeful. There are a couple other instances where citizens have risen and made a demand and a charge to council, and we have to listen. The reason why we have this, why the agenda process has been hijacked, is because the mayor knows this 16-year skilled politician who's quite crafty at gaming. That's how he looks at your life, as a game. He knows that if I present a progressive and aggressive policy initiative and it sees the light of day in public, and you vote down an item related to how we police. If you vote down an item related to bringing us closer to getting affordable housing, if you vote down an item which will be consistent with incorporating policies to help us eradicate our streets of some of this crime, if you were to vote it down in the face of the public, then your hands will be showed like your hands have been showed with the weeping time.
which
That's
is
correct.
which is
Boy, she just dropped that note and then hit the mute button. I tell you, boy.
And the weeping
I just
time
tell
shows
you.
them for who they are. We know how they're going to vote on all the issues concerning our community
But that was
because we see it already.
but Julius, that's why I asked, because if he made those appointments and that property is owned by the housing authority, then in essence he's directing what goes down with the housing authority. That's what
right.
I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And,
All right.
and so that's the reason why I brought that point up, because I mean, how are we going to change anything in our community if we're not even going to do things by right or by law? And the other piece is, and me and you talk about this all the time, and RG, we talked about this before. How can we change anything? It goes back to the narrative of voting. It goes back to the narrative of being an engaged citizen. It goes back into all of those narratives. And if we're not going to be engaged citizens to hold these people accountable, then guess what? You're going to have the Mitch McConnell of Savannah, Georgia, as Chuck said. You're going to have that because guess what? That happens because people are not engaged, and we're allowing the wrong people to be in those positions. I'm not, and I want to be known for the record. I don't dislike Van. I dislike his policy and his moves. As a person, I don't have a dislike for him, but his policies and his movement, I do have a dislike for, because he's not in it for the people who are from here. I was born in St. Joe's Hospital in Savannah, Georgia. He wasn't. So I'm going to have a stronger feeling, a stronger love for what happens in this community than he is. I'm not saying he don't love the community, but guess what? He sure ain't showing it with some of these policies he's been putting out the last couple of months. And so, what's that,
Rebecca,
Jules?
Rebecca Rose, you can't put. I can't put this one up like that
Well,
because
you can, because it cover you can because it you you can because it covers the chairman's cousin's face. So I'll read it for you. From the Housing Authority Board minutes in March, page 430, comments from Commissioner Vice Chairman Taylor, who was dialed in by telephone, asked Chairman Henry about an email that the chairman sent to the attorney, and on which he had been copied. In the email, Chairman Henry stated that he was recusing himself from all matters related to Yamacraft Village effective February 11, 2021, deferring all matters to executive execution of documents relating to Yamacraft Village to the vice chair. So, if he did that, is that one of the people that had got replaced, Rebecca Rose? Maybe that's the question I need to know first.
and
Um,
make your comments shorter, Rebecca, because
you
that's
know,
way too big. You got to break it up into two or three so it can fit the screen,
yeah,
please.
because we got to make sure Julius Hall, the chairman's cousin, is always on the screen, because we want to make sure he gets his view. Not just the picture of him live, but the picture behind him, because
Oh,
that's the
here's a
next
good one.
mayor.
Here's a good one. I want you to answer this one. How did we go from four alderwomen fighters to
Well,
three?
who we lost? Who did we lose?
Ooh, I'm going off screen. I'm gonna
No,
let y'all
who we
two be on
lost?
screen. Let me go off screen.
I think I
Y'all,
know.
y'all,
Well, no,
y'all just lost me.
look, look. Y'all so messy. Y'all so damn messy. Don't tell me it's five. Is it five? All you gotta do is shake
Oh Lord,
your head.
that's a good question. I don't know.
Is it five?
Hey,
Then you
hey,
tell me.
hey, y'all got to airbrush that. Y'all got to airbrush the four person out of the picture before I even start
Oh
talking
What
about
part
it.
of the picture
mercy.
though? The one.
Oh Lord.
Y'all lucky we ain't on Zoom. If we on Zoom, I asked Julius to make me the host, and I'll share the picture if I was on Zoom.
Hey,
Lord
who,
have mercy.
what? Look,
We went
tell me
from
what
four to
post, what
three.
district? Who
What dis
posted that comment?
what district
Huh?
we
Chuck,
from?
which one you talking
Hey,
about, Chuck?
it's a number divisible by five. I heard. That's all I
Oh, okay,
know.
that's
It's a
all.
number divisible
That's
by
what I was
five.
thinking too. That's what I was thinking as well. But
That's
I'm
all
ready
I
to go
know,
there.
man. I
I'm ready to
Ellen
can't
go.
say
Wright.
nothing else other than that.
All I
Is
know.
that Ellen Wright?
Oh,
You're right.
oh, bless
Go ahead,
God. Somebody throw it out there. Somebody put it out there, Lord.
Ambition.
But
See,
I
we
don't know
y'all
why.
done destroyed the we trying to struggle to find words to talk about the next subject, man. Got to be more
I want to know
careful.
why
Oh
they
Lord,
feel
the
that way.
older woman came back. I
And,
thought
and look at y'all done brought Keys. She got her a plate to eat and probably got some sweet tea or something like
Y'all just
that.
messing. They ain't bring me no nothing.
She probably got some sweet tea.
oh Lord,
Y'all messing earlier.
Dang!
oh Lord, we lost all the women
Oh,
today.
Hold on.
yeah.
Chuck
Hey, y'all
and
just lost me
Cecilia.
on the screen too. I
Well, Chuck,
cannot be a part of that conversation.
Chuck and Cecilia, tell us why. I don't know why. I want to know why. Jay,
She
you
said
know
we
what's
went
going
from
to hell,
four.
Jay.
She said we went from four older women to three fighters.
Man,
Sister
look here, man.
Disregard is eating. She's not talking right now.
No. She don't unmute herself. She ready to talk. She just
All
waiting
right,
us
go
to
ahead and eat
shut
your food
up.
now.
What's that?
I don't
What's
need you down there
that?
windmilling
What did
folk
I
at the
miss?
city
What did
No,
I
hall.
miss?
you didn't miss nothing,
There you
Keisha.
go.
Nah,
That's it
just
right
go.
there.
Yeah, just go ahead and eat your food now. Like I
Mhm.
say, go ahead and eat your food. Eat the cake
All I
and
can say, I can say, Regina Thomas.
The hat
Uh,
lady.
I'm sorry,
The hat lady.
the
Lord.
Honorable
Right.
Senator Regina Thomas
Yeah.
told me
You.
as I was taking office and campaigning and then subsequently coming into office, uh, we chatted at one point and in conversation as I was sharing with her, she said, Keisha, because I was expressing to her my disappointment in some people and how things were starting to shake out. And she said, you have to remember, in politics, there are no permanent friends and no permanent enemies. And so that is one of the greatest challenges for me because I'm the type of person, what you see is what you get. And when I deal in the real. And one of the openings of my campaign stump speech every time was, in addition to not being for sale, it was, I'm not a politician, I'm a public servant.
Right.
And so I think the greatest disadvantage for me in dealing with my work on a day-to-day basis is the fact that I don't deal with it as a politician. I deal with it as a professional, as a person advocating for real life issues that should not be a part of the political process. So when we talk about collective bargaining, networking, negotiating, and building consensus, you tell me, how is it that you trade off anything related to poverty reduction, eradicating crime and homelessness, creation of economic drivers for your neighborhood? What do I have to bargain? What do I have to trade off? How are we going to collaborate? We're either going to do this thing called crime reduction, poverty reduction, create some affordable housing, or we're not. But when you put your friends in the equation, and I don't have friends who are developers and contractors, engineers, architects. None of those are my friends. Chuck Fagan told me something once about how it is that wealthy people or these big businesses and corporations, how they will over time connect themselves with charities
Yeah, that's a good
to
point.
seemingly somehow appear altruistic. And there's a term for that, Chuck, if you could put that in the chat. Only to, on the backs of that mission, they build themselves up, never really wanting to make a difference, recognizing that you're basically using the money that you've already taken, you know? And so where my council colleagues are concerned outside of our leadership, I hesitate to be too terribly critical, but I don't have to say anything because people see the obvious. And I have been a defender of, council members in that, I want us to have the appearance, not only the appearance of working together, but behind the scenes know that we're working together too. And I have to go, guys, but before I go, I wanted to approach this topic of our city manager search to let you all know that while I am excited about our selection of the city manager, Mr. Jay Melder, I'm really, really excited. I supported him from day one.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed that the city staff and the community have to be subjected one more time to an interim city manager. I think the greatest indictment on the leadership in this administration is the fact that you, a 16-year politician with a 20 plus year background and experience in human services,
Oop.
you were not able in a 19-month period just hire a city manager. You know, on election night, he said that he was going to shepherd these young people into local government. Yeah, that was the first open media comment after acknowledgement of his win. And the only thing that we have been shepherded into is a lot of confusion, division, and uh, this whole scheme that the media and the establishment has created, where there is a deliberate intent to sully the reputations of the most progressive and aggressive, staunch fighters on City Hall, myself, Alderwoman Bernetta Lanier, Alderwoman Alicia Miller Blakely, and you seek to promote the most marginalized. You know, for the first time, I didn't realize how long I had not watched local news. I don't watch national news that much as well. I watch ATR and Better Savannah. But, you know, within like the first 10 minutes of our local news, it was like the Van Johnson City Council show. And you're just like, can you people just be a little less obvious? I mean, everything from him honoring the life and memory of one of our citizens who recently passed away at 105 years old. Blessings and condolences to that family. To
Good lady. She's one of our church members.
yes, to the arena, to the city manager search, and you're just like,
You forgot
in
Mohawk Park.
everything.
Mohawk Park.
Say that. Oh
You
yeah.
forgot the park.
Well,
Y'all leave
I'm
that dog
surprised
park
they haven't
alone.
reported on that part, but it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I had a round with Lou Phelps just recently, just to say, you know, we have worked on things from Weeping Time, Fairgrounds, initiatives to clean up this community, Alderwoman Lanier's initiatives and desire to create economic drivers for community, Alderwoman Alicia Miller Blakely's desire and efforts to create programs for community, the fact that she has saved people's homes off of the tax steps, off of the steps of the courthouse for delinquent taxes. You know, you don't highlight any of that. They are just intent on minutia, and it's so ridiculous. They can't be original. So I'm saying, Lou Phelps, with your latest account, just try to create another play, because that crap you just pulled, that old play out of that book, everybody recognizes it, you know, and so.
But Keisha, they're going to keep trying these old plays until we fall these old plays, and I agree with you. That's just one of many different old plays they play at us, and the problem now is they're getting caught in their bull crap, or as you say, minutia. They're getting caught in that stuff now. And so guess what? As we catch them, we got to do just what you did. Expose them for the bullcrap. And we don't want no apology. We want you to do better. If you're gonna be the media, or you're gonna be the express joint expression for us in the community, then do right and give us good sound content. Don't give us BS content.
And they have a responsibility to that extent, Jay. The media becomes culpable when they are complicit in reporting accurately. Right now, they are glossing over our crime stats. You reporters, you journalists, you really want a breaking story? You really want to tell this community what's really going on? Why don't you do a breaking story on the state of our police department? Why don't you talk about the fact that we are losing more officers than we are retaining? Why don't you talk about the fact that the numbers that have been presented to our community in terms of how many officers we are supposed to have based on how many residents we have here? Let's look at the fact that that's a gross disrepresentation. In addition, we're not talking about the morale. We just had an officer-involved shooting. We're glossing over all of that. So when you're not taking responsibility, you become culpable in the igniting of feelings and emotions in our community. And Brother Julius, I think you said it earlier, or I don't know if it was you, Jimmy J, but somebody said we have to stop with this reactionary approach. We have to be better planners. We have to galvanize and come together and fight issues before. So, I know we had the officer involved shooting and everybody mobilized and are raising hell about it and they're concerned about it, just like with the death of the citizen in the barracks. But you know what? Right now, today, there are issues that exist in our department that will not prevent the next officer involved shooting. It will not prevent the next death that may occur in our department. So that energy, that frustration, that passion, it needs to be expressed today in a way in which it can be packaged and delivered to local government and say, listen, mayor, listen, older people, let's do an immediate overhaul of our police department. Why are we not calling in outside forces to give us support? We are in a crime crisis and nobody wants to talk about it.
Well, they don't want to talk about it, Keisha, because you know what? Crime does one thing in our kind of community. It eliminates minorities off the street. It eliminates our young black boys, our young black girls into mass incarceration. If they don't kill each other, then we'll incarcerate them.
And
And
it
then
And
by
helps
what an
doing both,
indictment.
and it helps
And what
gentrify those areas of the city they want to
and
gentrify.
it helps gentrify those areas because
That's
there's
And what
no.
an indictment on our whole community right now, in that we have African Americans in top level leaderships at almost every continuum in our city. The
And
district
they
attorney, the county commission, the
the chief.
mayor, the
Yeah.
police chief. And,
and,
and and we have never been as in worse shape as we are in now.
and
And
they would
that's
say
why we
and they
have
would
to
say
stop getting caught up in voting black when these people don't give back. We
And they
gotta
will say
stop.
what your former mayor said. Your last mayor said. Your last mayor said this, and I'll never forget this statement. He said, "Hell, y'all had 20 years of black leadership in here, and I done did more in my 4 years than in 20 years. Y'all don't want to hear. You know what? He
That's what
said
I
that
said about.
statement. I didn't say that statement. He said that
Well,
statement. But you
and
know what I
those
did though, Keisha? I went back and I said, well, let me look at these 20 years we had leadership, and let's see what really happened. And
right.
Keisha, by numbers, I'm not saying what done in closed door. By the numbers, he was telling the truth.
Yeah, and we have to be able to accept that painful truth and recognize that it's about harmony throughout Savannah among all Savannians. But when you don't do that for the most vulnerable of the demographics, you're putting everybody else in jeopardy. So I'm hopeful as I close. I'm looking forward to the arrival of our new city manager. I wish he did not have to come into such a toxic environment. As I stated before, I regret that our citizens who are staffers of the city of Savannah, actually, a lot of them are not citizens of Savannah. That's another problem.
Most
But
of them aren't,
um,
but yeah.
we regret that they are being subjected to new leadership once again at the city manager level, because the CEO of our city, not only is he primarily responsive to the council by way of the aldermen and alderwomen, that individual is responsive to our city staff, who ultimately serves the public. And when you have city staff who are not being treated fairly, who don't feel like they are able to do their jobs, who are being passed over, looked over, who are being fired, or who are being threatened at work, when you are subjected to that time and time again after administration, these people are having to adjust, bob, and weave every time. You're not going to be able to serve our public with harmony. And so the services suffer for the citizens. So that's why the city manager position is so important. And I am committed to doing everything possible to making sure that we are working with Mr. Melder to give him the best start possible. I feel great about having a fresh perspective and a new set of eyes on our city and our selection. I can speak for myself, Alderwoman Lanier and Alderwoman Blakely, that uh, this is evidence. While we a lot of times get pegged as being radicals, racist, and only caring about Black people, we were a big part of the process of selecting a white city manager for Savannah. So, for us, this decision was far too important to relegate it to race. Um, the jury is still out on what he's going to bring to the table, and I'm just hoping that Mr. Nelder can come here and stand up to the establishment, recognize his rightful place in a form of government that is not inclusive of strong mayor, which it has been assumed. And so y'all just pray and pray for us and stay tuned. And
What was the vote on that?
9-0.
So it was a
I
unanimous vote.
can't tell you what it was in executive session, but
Right.
ultimately when it came out in the
No,
public,
no, I care about it in the public.
Yeah.
Executive session. I understand that's all, but in the public, what was the vote? What was the public vote, or did y'all
it
public
was
vote yet?
unanimous.
Okay.
Yeah. So uh, I think that his hands are still going to be tied, and he's going to be the same as Michael Brown. He might not be as rude and brash and unconcerned, but he's going to do the same thing. They didn't bring him here for nothing. This was a plan. They had Keith there, and they had a weak female.
Well,
Michael,
I
this
actually
guy,
think, Julius, from behind the scenes, I think the plan was spoiled somehow. I think it was. I think it was because I feel like, the person who blew the last search, I think he kind of lost his footing. He lost his buddies along the way. So we'll see. Let's have hope. Think positive.
Well, and my hope, and before you go to woman, this is my hope and this is my thought. You bring in someone who's run a major city that has multiple components, and I'm hoping that he will come in with a vision. And Jay, we've talked about this. Savannah has so much potential for all of her residents, and that he bring a vision that's going to move us in a progressive way and utilize the benefits that Savannah has. And I mean, what I mean by that is looking at infrastructure, looking at how do you develop all parts of the city. And I'm just hopeful that he'll bring that type of vision forward, whereas what we have now is a bunch of bullshit from 20 years ago. And what are your thoughts around that? Is that what you all saw when y'all selected him? 'Cause I liked him too from day one.
So ask that last part again.
Is that kind of what you all were thinking about when you selected him? Is that he's going to bring that progressive
Oh my God,
vision,
yes.
yeah, and move us
That
past?
was that was my complete motivation, Mr. Bryant. My complete motivation was if we talk about ridding Savannah of status quo politics, that cannot successfully be done by someone who is a part of this culture. Because there is an entrenched culture that has been created under that gold dome that seemingly cannot be penetrated, but I feel as if we have a greater chance if we do have somebody from the outside. Now, if that person comes in and starts folding,
Yeah, there. Were you talking more? I'm talking now.
I'm gonna
yeah,
give. I'm Nostradamus. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna damn happen right now. This
God
guy was
damn.
already
Julia Damas.
to be
Julia
here.
Damas.
I
He
don't
was
want to
already
hear. I don't want to
planned to
hear,
be.
Yeah,
Julia.
yeah,
So I'm
no,
going to
no,
leave now.
no.
I'm going
You
to
talking
leave
about
now.
Let Alderwoman
Look what Jackson Johnson said. Jackson Johnson said, "You guys wake up. The guy from Washington D.C. was the guy in the first place. Look at his competition. His competition was there so that he could win. This was orchestrated.
No, I promise you to
I'm
God.
telling you.
I promise you to
But
God. That's
they
not.
see,
Please
they
take it
knew
to
that
your
you would
older women.
think that way. They knew that. So
No,
they said, let's ease
no.
him here.
Seriously, seriously. I would tell you. I'll be the first. I have diarrhea at the mouth. I'll be the first to tell you. I sincerely, and if this was suspected, and this is why we had a problem with this firm and with this search from day one, because they deliberately advertised, they put out advertisement deliberately seeking a number two, an assistant city manager. So my first critique was, why would you advertise a job for a city manager for Savannah? And we have all of these candidates who are number twos. They have not served in the city manager role. So my position was, as a consulting firm, shouldn't you be concerned about your clients' demographics, your clients' issues? We are our crime is at an all-time high. City staff and the police department morale is at an all-time low. With all of the complexities and dynamics of Savannah being a port community, being a community that's near a beach community that makes us susceptible to natural disasters, being a tourist town, being a port community. We have all of these dynamics and these themes. Oh, let's not forget that we're also a community that generates the most money for Georgia, only second to Atlanta, but we are creeping up on almost more than 2 times the national average in poverty. Is this a job for a number two? Why would you be advertising for a number two unless you already had a person in mind? So no, Julius, that acknowledgement is not. I don't think that was the case.
You
So,
all, go ahead. I'm sorry.
but now when we were dealt the cards, again, I just wanted a city manager. While I prefer the number one, I don't think it takes rocket science to do this job. The biggest task of a leader is getting people around them to do the best job that they can, being able to identify the best talent for the best position. Essentially, the city manager is a conductor, is an orchestrator, in addition to being a visionary. This person just has to be able to come in, look at our organization, look at who's doing what jobs we have, and say, here's how we're going to get to our strategy plan. Can we get to the strategy plan with the same set of circumstances that we're dealing with?
See,
So, can a number two do it? Yes. Can an
It,
experience?
I'm hoping that you're right, but I still think that this took all these months of planning and they went and found this guy.
Julius,
This is deeper than what y'all think.
Well,
Julius,
you know what? I am not.
Julius, I would have accepted a gorilla from the zoo than what we've been dealing with the last year and a half.
No question about
Because
You know
we've
that.
been
what,
spending
John?
two hundred and forty thousand dollars to. I mean, we've been spending too much money for that. Number one. Number two, Julius, this is the point you got to understand. And Keisha, I'll defend you on this piece here. The point you got to understand, Julius, we ain't getting a superb, great, fabulous city manager who has that kind of quality because of the fiasco we have had in Savannah, Georgia. And just being called for what it is. And so what we got to do is get what we can get in place, cultivate that person. If it's not the right one, not the right fit, fire his ass. Shit, we used to doing that anyway. I'm sorry, we used to doing that anyway.
Well, I do want to say that I am committed. I am committed, even if I have to sell my silence. As long as this man is doing right by our city staff and especially our police department, when it comes to some of the policy initiatives that I'm desiring for the city, I'm willing to swallow some of that if this person has a demonstrated ability to heal this staff. I will not be a part of, in Jesus' name, I should say, I do not want to be a part of
Oh wow,
firing
wow.
a city manager. I do not, I want to make that pledge to the Savannians today that I will work my darnest and my hardest to make sure that Mr. J. Melder is here for as long as he wants to be here. And Brother Hall, I hear you, I get it.
That's
And when
good.
I hear you, it scares me because you are very rarely wrong. And so your intuition you may be speaking from a place of intuitiveness right now. But I'm hopeful. I remain hopeful.
Well, there's two things. That plus this. I mean, think about it. That man's coming to earn this check, and he's not going to do anything to mess up 240,000 plus incentives.
He won't see the same salary the other two
Well,
people got.
seemingly our interim city manager, according to Lou Phelps, is leaving because I cursed him,
Good.
allegedly cursed him.
Well,
Which
let's see
I,
how
for the
many more.
record, people,
We
for
can
the
all
record,
join
people,
in this
I did not.
thing.
I don't know any man who is going to walk away from their job because a little lady allegedly cursed him, and no one could document it, identify it, and it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. If I was his wife, I'll smack him upside his head when he got home. You mean you left that much money because of curse words or somebody curse you? It did not happen. Michael Brown has not acknowledged that it's happened. It's an attack and a schematic offered by Van Johnson to his media buddy, and she ran with it. So the real truth in why Mr. Brown walked away is suspected because he had issues with the mayor's decision on some of this fairground stuff. And I'm going to part ways with y'all on that. I'll talk to you
Lord,
later.
fairground.
Love
Fairground
y'all.
change.
Love ya.
All right.
Speaking of fairground, any updates on that,
Now,
y'all?
mind you, I done let Keisha Gibson Carter because she's respected and she is an elected official talk for the last 25 minutes, and y'all ain't let Jimmy J. Y'all gonna let Jimmy J. Jones or Jim Jones come out here? That's my next alternative motive person. Jim Jones is getting ready to come out, and y'all know what Jim Jones will do.
You know what?
We saw Jim Jones a couple of
I
weeks
can't
ago.
deal
We're
with
going to
you.
see him right now. Ain't
Yeah.
enough time left for Jim Jones.
Well, I think what she said was brilliant conversation. Julius,
Yeah.
me and you that had this conversation before. The level of talent that we really deserve is not going to come to Savannah, Georgia, because of all the stuff that's going on with Savannah, Georgia. I think the biggest thing we need, I think somebody put it in the chat, is we need to get healing amongst those 9 people. I don't see it happening. I think what needs to happen, and usually in government structures, when you have this much catastrophe going on, is you take like a 6-month hiatus, meaning y'all just have soft agenda points for 6 months, and then 6 months later, then y'all really have that open discussion to try to lead this city
But,
forward. And
but,
I think
but
that's what has to happen.
Jay, that could work in a perfect world. But you
I'm
have
just giving. I'm just giving you the diagnosis, brother.
right,
I mean,
right. I heard you. The thing is, leadership is something that God gives you,
Hmm.
and the ability to bullshit people is something that the devil gives you. Now, the leadership at City Hall is the bullshit. This man is the greatest bullshitter in that I've seen. Serious. This dude is bad, man. He's able to fool all these people that he's doing something good and he's doing nothing at all for them.
yeah,
Nothing.
but Julius, the people have to be the judge and determining factor about why and what it's all about. And Julius, me and you can scream top to the top of Mount Everest and say y'all being bamboozled, ran amok, led astray, all the other good stuff. But until people see that they are, and the problem with us, Julius, is guess what? We don't see it till the shower head ain't working no more. We don't see it until we are outside of our house and we're no longer in those communities. We don't see it until it's already done, sold up, and all we're doing is trying to say react to those terms.
Well,
And that's the problem.
Hmm.
I'm here to tell you that the shower head ain't working. And so
You like that, didn't you? I know you liked it. That's good. I know you can use it. You can use it.
the people need to see that, but the
Lord.
people are just being blinded for some reason. But the thing is, you said that you want them all to work in harmony. It takes leadership to do that.
Julius, how many times have I told you that it takes leadership for that to happen? How many
Okay.
times?
And that's what we're saying right now. It takes
Hmm.
leadership, and we
I
won't
don't
let
disagree with you,
leader.
brother. I
No, the
don't.
leader that's in place right now is not even thinking about that. He wants the damn confusion.
But see, Julius, leadership comes in many different forms, and we have to understand that leadership comes in many different forms. He's no different than what he was when he was in that seat over there in the first district. It's nothing changed. The only thing that changes, he went from an area to now he's over the entire area. And
Yeah.
guess what? Nothing changed. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. Go back and look at policy. Go back and look at all the laws. He can't even say that he was stifled from that because every government structure since 1992 has been a democratic government structure that's been in favor of any position he brought to the table. You can't tell me that. Otherwise, ever since Otis 2 terms, Edna's 1 term, and even under the Deloach, he has been able, he had no opposition if he would have brought any kind of law, procedure, or policy to the table. He didn't. And you know what? The first district is a byproduct of him not doing that. And guess what? We still elected him what? The mayor. Part 2 to that conversation is, did we present the best kind of competition to him? No. It was him, Eddie DeLoach, and the Hat Lady. And I don't mean no disrespect by the Hat Lady, but I was introduced to Regina Thomas as the Hat Lady because I'm not old enough to know her as a senator. And I don't mean no disrespect by that.
You forgot the most important person in that race,
Who?
Lewis Wilson.
And I'm sorry, Lewis Wilson, because he gonna cuss my behind out because I didn't say his name. He gonna say all kind of words. I say his name, but yeah, Lewis Wilson. And now watch this. And I'll tell you for the record, because Julius, you know this, and Ryan, RG, you know this. I was asked to get in that election. I said, man, why the hell would I get in the election? You got 3 blacks and 1 white, and we are in a city that's 50+% African American, and we vote strictly on emotions. I'm sorry. I'm not going. I would have had to resign from my position as a sitting county commissioner to be able to run in that election, and I just didn't have the time nor the effort wanting to run in that piece right there. How about I say this, Chuck? I wasn't old enough, but guess what? I wasn't living here. How about I say that?
There it is. I said it.
Either way.
Well, I want y'all to remember this. When it all said and done, y'all gonna find out that Jay Melder is no better than Michael Brown. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, but Julius.
Ain't no but about it.
But Julius, yeah, it is. It is, Julius. It is, Julius. Were we going to get a fair, impartial process from the beginning?
I don't know where you're gonna get it from, but I bet like Jackson John said, the powers that be chose this guy. These people know what the hell they doing. We playing checkers, they playing chess. Y'all remember that.
Julius, how many times I say that to you? When we on the phone talking, we argue with each other. How many times I say that to you? 1,000 times.
Go out on a limb today and say they should have hired Keith Lloyd. Hell no, they shouldn't have hired Keith.
No, I don't. No,
I don't think they should have hired Keith. I don't think they should have. I mean,
in that case, you don't need a
that's
city
what
manager.
they had in place. All I'm saying, Chuck, is that they put this guy in place. Y'all don't see it because they had all these months to go and recruit him. They had all these months to go and find him and put him in place. This is somebody, friend of somebody on Cedar or some of these damn places.
Let me help you out, Julius. Let me help you out. For the record, let me teach you this. This is a teaching moment for everybody out there in this audience. You have, when you become a city official or a county official, you become a part of an association. Those associations are the GMA, which is the Georgia Municipal Association local, and then they have a national Trend 2 association, which brings all the municipal elected people together, like the ACCG does the same thing with NACO on the county level position. So when they go out there, when you join these associations, guess what? You get into these groups and these big tables across the whole United States of America, and you have conversation. I can guarantee that the mayor of this city of Savannah, Georgia, who is a part of the GMA, and he's also part of the National Association that ties all municipal people together. If he's there, he's already interviewing people when he goes to these association meetings. You're not there. I'm not there. You know why? Because we're just regular citizens. Now, Julius Hall will be there next year because I'm going to drive him to wherever that association is when he becomes a mayor of Port Wentworth. That was your plug. I'm going to charge you later on. But when we talk about these situations, that's how these things are done, Julius. You know how I know, Julius? Because I did it when I was with the ACCG. It's no different, brother.
All I was saying, somebody knows this guy, and you can't convince me otherwise.
But I'm just explaining to you how it's done. Now you know.
They put 2 weak people in the on the side of a moderately strong person. Who gonna win? This guy's a plane. Believe that, and I told you that.
I can't disagree with you, but Julius, I done sat on them kind of decisions with HR, and I done seen how the minutia plays in part in politics, and we always make sure that 1 good person and 2 duds go. Matter of fact, the 3rd person was added because the 3rd original person was no longer available for the position. So let's go ahead and put that piece out there too.
Hey, and you remember this whole council was happy when Michael Brown came, and I told him Michael Brown ain't nothing. You watch what he do. What happened? They all hate him. Not all, but you know the people's fighters hate him now.
And Chuck, it wasn't an ACCG because that's a county affiliation. It was the Municipal Association, the National. I don't know the name of it, but it's the National Municipal Association. I'm not talking about it. GMA would have been the one he would have been a part of because he's a municipal association person. ACCG is dealing with county committee people. So there's 2 different associations I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well,
Okay.
we
Now
got
I can make the next 34 minutes count for if you need me to.
No, no.
Oh,
What we have not touched on, but really what spawned our topic, and I don't know if y'all hit it yet, but what's up with the video footage of last week? What's going on? I
what
mean,
video for? Oh, you talking about the police
oh,
shooting?
the shooting, the killing, the police killing, where just when it just silence, and we're supposed to believe that the same people that said a man hung himself with a shoestring did the right thing this time, and so I'm just lost as to why we still haven't seen the footage.
Well. As it was told to me via social media from a certain individual, I'm going back to my silent mode. Uh, uh, the GBI is now handling the case. And when the GBI starts handling the case, which we understand the state of Georgia has been under Republican rule going on 20 plus years. So that's going to be a slated conversation in itself, a
Mhm.
convoluted slated conversation in itself. So with the GBI handling that case right now, I don't foresee a lot of things coming out. Number two, they want to make sure they get as many days between this situation because we're docile people. Guess what we'll
Oh yeah,
do?
we're gonna yeah.
In 3 weeks, we'll forget about it and they'll release the video camera footage and we won't even have an uproar because you know what the problem about Savannah is? We have become a docile community, meaning guess what? We just don't fight.
That's true.
Hey, RG, it is what my favorite saying, Julius Hall. It is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. And
until
until we change that mentality, it's gonna always be that way, brother. And
that's
that's just the reality.
until we
For
change.
people who weren't out there, I'm at a place now, and I've said this, not said out loud, and they may come get me, but maybe it's time that Savannah has leaders that's from Savannah who understands and cares about the community. When I
Wait a
was out
minute.
there, because I
How
didn't
many
want
people up there? How many people up
hold
there
on.
from
When I
Savannah?
was out,
No,
no, no,
no,
no, no,
no.
hold on,
You
hold on.
said leadership from Savannah. How many people up there from Savannah?
Well, hold up. When I went out there because the spirit told me don't have Sister Blakely out there by herself, and I felt something move. So I went out there and to see the police officers looking at the citizens of that community like, so what? What y'all gonna do? That was sickening. And I mean that was the tense moment out there. You got people out there hurting, and you got sworn officers who's supposed to protect those folks looking at them like, so what? I mean, it was just sad and pitiful.
RG, but you just said leaders. You know the other person that was an alderman out there is from Savannah as well.
What other one?
There was another alderman out there.
Oh, the one who don't understand what's going
Matter
on.
of fact,
The
it
one
was
who don't
four.
understand is
It
going on gamma club with his own
was.
people.
It was
Oh,
four
okay.
other ones out. It was four
Oh,
other ones
okay.
out there from what I was. I haven't seen no video, and so I don't have no retraction statements. So I'm not saying no names, but there was four other aldermen out there from what I was told.
Oh, but they weren't visible. See, they don't want to be seen in that kind of
I'm,
situation.
I'm just telling
I
you what
said,
I was told, brother.
One
yeah,
almost got one acted like he wanted to get into a fight, and the police had to pull him off or something,
Mm-hmm.
pull him away.
Hey,
He
he
acted like
before he got camera before he came. Okay, I'm gonna make a scene here and I'm gonna make it look like I'm a fight, but y'all need to catch it. But they caught all the intro to that. I tell you, man. Most of
see,
those
the
people,
fake
but you can't.
understand fake. When you don't understand what's going on in your district, you fake. Get out of my way. You don't
Yeah,
count. Let's
but
move on.
the thing is, the only way, and me, Julius, and talked about this. Me and you, Arjun, and talked about this until we start seeing these snakes, these shakes, or these wolves in sheep clothing, and understand that they really not sheep. They right there for coat taking for the establishment, just along with those people we put in those leadership positions. Then we gonna keep suffering. Right now, I'll say it on this thing right here. I done been called 1,000 times saying Julius Hall will not be the next mayor of Port Wentworth. And every time I've asked him, I said, why do you say Julius Hall? Oh, because he's just this. I said, well, Julius Hall is doing what he should be doing for Port Wentworth. He's speaking up for those people who aren't in Port Wentworth being spoke of. Port Wentworth has been hijacked. Why aren't we talking about that on national news?
well,
Because you know why?
I'm gonna tell you like this: if this mayor beats me, there needs to be a damn investigation. I'm running against goddamn Jed Clampett. Ain't Jed Clampett ain't fit to beat me. He is
I'm
not
just
fit
telling
to
you, man.
outwork me. He's not fit to outwork me. He's not smarter than me. He damn sure ain't good looking as me.
Oh, Lord.
Damn.
Yeah, you
All
going big,
screen,
boy.
all screen, all screen. How you get off screen? How you get off screen? How you get off screen? All screen. There you go right there.
I can't deal with Jay Shaw.
There you go right there. I ain't got nothing to do with all that.
So
That's how I
So
said it, Mom.
He just with Julius Hall get in that seat. He better make sure he don't find or hire nobody to look better than him. That's all I got to say.
well, I'm gonna hire talent. I'm gonna hire
Lord.
talent. If this
But
man
but
is gonna be the Russians helping him, that's the only way he can win.
But
They
and
done
my
hired, they done hired Dave Simon last week to come run this campaign.
they need to hire somebody higher than him because Dave Simon ain't the answer.
No, he's
okay.
not.
Dave Simon ain't the
We
answer.
beat him before, so Dave
Hmm.
Simon is not even a
But
word.
but look, talk about Republican rule. It was another piece of with Kemp and his boys. Y'all see we have they came for me and Daniel Black, man. They got an African American Public Service Commissioner, Jay Jones.
RG, me and you talked about this. Julius, me and you talked about this. The new narrative the Republicans are going to try to do right now is they're going to find African Americans to start running against us because they understand, and I hate to say it, and I know I'm going to be blasted for it. I said it earlier. Black people, we vote by emotional terms, and we do not learn who is for us. And that's why we keep getting bamboozled in these situations. And
Yeah.
guess what? They're getting ready because they understand that as Republicans, they're going to be locked in together. They're going to try to divide the black vote. That's he's not the only one. They doing the same thing with Herschel Walker, Julius' favorite running back. They doing the same thing with with Vernon Jones,
Oh no,
Julius's
no.
old favorite friend
Bernie's
up
dead.
there in North
Bernie's
Atlanta.
dead.
I mean, they've
They
been
got
doing this stuff.
hey, Bernie's dead. Bernie's dead on arrival. They got a guy out of Washington, Georgia, Ames. That guy's gonna beat Brian Kemp down. I watch what I tell you.
Well,
Yeah,
Brian Kemp raised $2 million, so I mean, he raising the money.
but
Vernon Jones only got $600,000.
Ames is locked and loaded and ready. Ames can run a campaign by himself, and he's got Trump's endorsement.
Yeah,
So
well, that's gonna be the new test
go
of
look up.
Mark.
I want
Being
y'all to go look up Fitz Johnson. That brother
being
there.
being 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 a Democrat right now, I'm gonna tell you now. If you don't know it, I'm gonna say it again. People who left the Democratic Party in the '60s and '70s, they kids are making a comeback in the in the '99 and the 2000s, as Juvenile would say. Playing politics is becoming the sport because you know what? The old Republicans ran on this ticket. Three things: faith, family, and taxes. Guess what? In this new day and age, because of COVID, those three things have been morphed and changed. And because of that, politics is changing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Julius, please talk, Julius. I don't want. I'm gonna put myself on mute so I can just talk on mute, so you can talk and tell you
But here's
all you
the
got to
thing.
say, brother.
But here's the thing, and I say this all the time about the leadership for the Democratic Party of Georgia is weak. I mean, you got what you got, move out the way, put somebody who's gonna run this thing right. The things you're doing, Jay, like going around and motivating people and training them, we don't do a good job at it as Democrats in the state of Georgia. As a matter of fact, we probably need to elect leaders before time because if we don't get our train back on track, they're gonna have a whole another whitewash like they did a year ago.
I'm telling you, it's coming. And but RG, the most important thing is this, Julius and RG. We have to get people who are not afraid to run for office. That's why I stand beside that young man right there in the picture. And I'm going to stop beating him up the rest of the show. Everybody out in the world, y'all know I love Julius Hall. That's my big brother. We argue, we fuss, and everything like that. Everything I put on here is a joke and playing because you know what? Unfortunately, the only way I could get you to like, watch, and do all this is I got to have all this calamity. Because if I come in here and give you facts and figures, y'all would, man, that show was boring. And y'all would hit unlike and y'all won't want to look at this thing. So I got to be animated. I got to be outside myself. I got to be Jimmy J just to get y'all to watch this thing because if I was just Jay Jones, y'all don't want to see that because that's the educated. He's black. He shouldn't be educated. He's black. He shouldn't understand all this stuff. He shouldn't be doing all this stuff. Or the next thing is, oh, he's racist because he's speaking up for black people. And then y'all will be the one who carry that message harder than the people from the other side of the room. You
Oh
know
no.
what? I'm just calling it for what it is. You know, don't hate me because I understand the facts and figures. Hate me because I'm telling you the truth.
Oh
And you
no.
want to do better in your life.
Oh
I'm
no.
sorry, Julius. I'm going to be quiet. I was quiet all that time for my great older woman, Keisha Gibson Carter, so I'm trying to make up for my time where I didn't get to talk.
Hey, you know, it's going to be interesting. I know a lot of people they don't understand that Savannah politics and Pope Wentworth politics are on two different levels. They don't. Pope Wentworth haven't seen what I'm doing. They've never seen what I'm doing. I haven't. I'm just halfway through now. When I do the Bliss in the second half, I don't care. They can bring Dave Simon, the Russians, Rush Limbaugh from the grave, and a couple of other crazy motherfuckers back here. They cannot beat me in Pope Wentworth. And I ain't just talking about the people need to elect me because I'm black or because it'll make history. That's not why they should elect me. They should elect me because I'm going to do better by Pope Wentworth. That's why they should elect me.
And the thing is, dog, they don't even. And my thing is this: they come at you not because of what policy you trying to present. They come at you whatever negative narrative they can come up with, and then they put all those myopic terms. They put all those terms out there to try to discredit you. But in fact, if they just look at what you have as far as your platform and what you present
There you
with
go.
policy and
Yeah.
what you present that can move the narrative forward for Port Wentworth, then you'll look past all that stuff. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, that guy who in that seat right now ain't did a goddamn thing other than hire Dave Simon to run his campaign. And my thing is, and watch this, Dave Simon done run a lot of black folk campaigns too, but I'm gonna stay out of that conversation today. And I'm not even gonna go there today. But Dave Simon done put a lot of black people in place that you've been your elected official throughout the day and time. But you know what? What I'm saying, you know why, Julius? Because all this stuff, if you know how to find it, is available to the public eye. Why do I need to give you the information? You need to wake yourself up and go out there and find this information for yourself.
He claims that he's the king, the black kingmaker. That's what he claims he is.
Oh,
Well, I'm
Lord
here
have
to
mercy.
tell him you are no kingmaker here, buddy. You can make a dog catcher the king. Those people paid you, and you did great mail outs. We'll see what you do in this up here. You ain't gonna beat me up there. I already know.
And the reason why he does that, Julius, is because he understands black folk vote with emotional terms.
Mm-hmm.
And how we got to break that cycle is what he is not ready for is you walking the streets, you talking the talk, and you doing what you got to do to present the platform that's best for Port Wentworth. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Savannah, Georgia owns property that belongs to Port Wentworth. I can tell you that with affirmation. Y'all, part of y'all property is owned by. I just don't understand why City of Savannah's in a land grab just to making sure they can pay these tax monies off. If y'all got the biggest organization in that pack, why don't y'all start working with them and stop letting SCAD be able to do what it does all over the place right there instead of finding citizens that don't have incorporations and incorporating them into the city of Savannah so you can get their tax dollars in your tax digest, and then them people don't have services or they got to pay high HOA fees and everything else under the sun. That should be a topic in itself, how high and ridiculous some of these HOA fees are across the state of Georgia. But you know what? We don't want to talk about that because you know why? Because what that would do was that would hurt our friends, our family, and those people we want to talk to and those people we want to like us rather
Who's
than calling them for what they are.
who's this guy Jackson Johnson? I'll say it for you. Van Johnson, Lester
They,
Jackson, the
the
late
guy, Jose was
Bob
a
Bryant.
kingmaker. I guess he ran those campaigns. But you know,
Ooh.
I said it long.
Ooh. My camera just went. My camera. Something happened to my camera, y'all. I cannot be associated with comments like that. You can put it up there now, Julius. They just hear my voice. You can put that statement up there now. There you go.
Hey, that's you know this show here is about honesty and truth. And
Right.
somebody said that this is the campaigns that this guy
Ooh, I take
ran.
my camera.
I
Ooh,
can tell
it got hot in this house.
Boy, look
I
at
can
him.
tell you for one that he did work with me on Van's campaign. And
Y'all came for the
he,
nukes on
he
that
did
one.
work with me on Van's campaign. Everybody tried to downplay my role in that campaign, and
Ooh.
the ones that say that I wasn't involved, I never saw them at a Monday meeting. I was at every Monday meeting. All the questions went to me. Everything in the field went to me. So y'all, they tried to downplay my role in Van's election. Yeah, it wouldn't be no Van if it wasn't for me.
Yeah, well,
I
Oh,
said
hey,
it.
Jay, there's another young lady say she got Van elected. You know what
What
I'm talking
lady is
about?
that?
Jay
Who's
best
that?
friend.
ooh, my camera stopped working.
You know what I'm talking about, Julius.
Who Jay best friend is?
Ooh.
Who got Tony messed all messed up? Oh Lord.
Oh. She was in the office every day doing work. She did some work now. I can tell
Because
you,
she's the reason why.
My camera's malfunctioned, Julius. I think I gotta log out. Something's going on with my
We
camera.
ain't gonna go there.
she was at the meetings. I can tell you that. She was there.
Mhm.
She was at every meeting. We were there every Monday.
Like I said, brother,
I'm gonna tell
brother.
you who wasn't there though. It was two sets that wasn't there. The people who claimed that I had no involvement, they never were at any meetings. And then the candidate, he came 40 when the damn meeting was over every time. So
Well, I want to go ahead and talk about something else.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
we're
got
gonna be.
something else on the subject.
We
You
We
got about
know,
got the weeping time. Oh Lord, that
I thought we
you
talked. I thought we talked about that already.
yeah.
oh Lord, that mess.
Well,
Did
we got a
we?
little bit of time here.
We
I
got
think how's the election? I think well, this is one that's important. The election season's heating up, and how's that looking? I know you gentlemen will
oh
be
yeah.
more in the trenches with that. Where are we
We
with
got
all of that? And by the way,
well.
I'm trying to get B and John on here too. B winning John E.
Okay. Okay. Well, if y'all get both of them on there, I won't be a part of. I can't be a part
Yeah,
of
you're
that
right. You
because I
can't.
can't get into all that. But I'll get you her contact information and anything. Y'all already had John on here, or John on the other thing, so other shows, so
Hmm.
y'all should have contact with him.
Is it?
But
I know it's B and John. Anybody else running for that
you
office?
have two other
This
people.
is the secretary of John.
Manswell is running,
Okay.
and then you got a couple people running on a Republican ticket because old boy he's not running again. So you have a heated debate on the Republican side as well.
Okay. So we definitely
Hmm.
put all our damn brand in there.
Watch this. Since I'm gonna have some fun, if y'all don't mind me having some fun with
Go
that.
for it. You got 3 minutes.
So my question is, right, my question to you is this: what if? Wait, some of the people don't want to tell the people the truth. You right, you right. What if, and I know I'm gonna get rocks and everything. I'm either gonna get rocks thrown at me or I'm gonna become a rock star.
Okay.
But Julius, I got a new theory. What
yeah.
if Stacey Abrams is not going to run for governor? What are y'all gonna do?
Well, they in trouble. They're in trouble. I think if Stacey doesn't run, because a lot of these people are in the race, hoping that they're running on the coattails of Stacey. Even B, she said it last night. She's in Stacey's OC.
Mm-hmm.
She's a friend of Stacey's. So they
Mm-hmm.
all running, just like what the young guy with the bald head, Bodie. Bodie said last night that uh it's something in reference to her running.
No,
So
Bodie didn't say that. Jackson said that.
oh, Jackson said it.
Yeah, Jackson said that. I remember the comment. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So they're all hoping that she's running, and if she's running, she needs to get in the race. I
No,
was
no, no,
watching.
no, no. Listen. Now, I don't want you going down that path because it's going to take us down a deep hole. I said the question was, what if Stacey doesn't run? What do we do?
But you know, when you said that, I was sitting here in my head trying to figure out, well, who do you think?
I'm just going to throw a name out there for fun. I'm just
Yeah.
going to throw a name out there for fun.
Go ahead.
What if Van Johnson
No,
makes a run for
no.
for the governor?
Kemp would eat him alive. I think. I'm not
No,
trying.
I'm being real.
I'm
Julie,
real too. I'm not being funny. Being funny. Well, you don't.
look at Julius. Look at Julius, Brian. Look at Julius.
Hey, Joe, you muted.
I'm just saying, y'all.
Reading comments is not a
I'm
personal
being
thing.
real.
You don't command that type of.
I didn't add. I hear
I'm
you,
just being real.
but I'm being real too. I'm being totally
Yeah,
real
no,
too.
hey, the
What if
time.
Stacey does not run?
I
And
think honestly, if Stacey didn't run, our best bet would be, in my opinion, 2 people. One would be Mayor Bottoms, or 2 would be
you
Senator
said Mayor
Warnock.
Johnson.
Bottoms,
Oh, I was making
or
sure.
Senator Warnock come back. That would be our only 2.
And
Maybe I'm
who?
wrong, but
Keisha,
I don't
who?
foresee them giving up a senatorship.
Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms, and who was the other person?
I said either Bottoms, Warnock, or Ossoff. And you know,
Warnock wouldn't do it because Warnock is running for Senate, so I would take his name
Oh,
off the
I
list.
want to
okay,
do that.
Brandon, he got
So
6 years.
So who was the other person?
I said Ossoff, but they're not coming off.
Also, neither one of them are coming out of U.S. Senate seat.
No,
So you give me something.
those three, I don't see much. I don't see.
So you said Keisha Lance Bottoms,
Yeah.
Van Johnson,
No,
and one of the state senators.
Don't say that lie.
U.S. senators.
I ain't say that lie. I said three.
Reason why I bring that up, he's making a lot of national trend, a lot of national news, a lot of this. He's really not concentrating really hard on Savannah, Georgia. And he really hasn't made an announcement of doing anything outside of the mayor. Of course, after this conversation, see how RG took his face off the screen, Julius? After this conversation, I'm sure a retraction statement will come back on that, saying that. That's why I say what if. So therefore, I don't have to retract my statement. Plus,
no,
I
digress.
No, I'm dead serious. What if Stacey does not run? Stacey has accumulated so much money that why the hell does she need to sit back and get in the government seat and have rocks and candles? See, that's how you shut down the comment section, Julius. You start saying topics like that. Jokers is.
I'll tell you who would be good. I would
love
Sanford Bishop.
Sanford Bishop won't do it.
I know, but I think
he won't do it.
He has the right pedigree.
What I want you to understand this is RG. Nobody who is in a U.S. state senate or representative seat is going to give up that seat to come back here and deal with the problems Georgia has on hand.
But outside of that, I guess we give it back.
Unmute yourself, Julius. Unmute yourself.
Governor Ames from Washington, Georgia.
We got a call from somewhere. Calling you on the air. Can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you. And I've been watching the show. I've watched the show for the last 30, 40 minutes.
Charlie Brown for governor. Charlie Brown for governor.
Hey, thank you. Just remember, trust me. Listen, I want to say hello to Dr. Brian. How are you, sir?
How's it going, sir?
I'm great, and that new name, Jimmy J, I kind of like it. It's catchy. I like that. Listen, I've got a couple things to say, and I'm sorry, just one thing to say. You guys started talking about weeping time. Dr. Lennon Harris, Small, say something so compelling and so truthful. He said if Eddie Loach was mayor, we would not be going through this with weeping time. That is sad, and that's coming from a black man to a white man.
I agree.
And that's to show you how Dan and those other city council people are thinking. Why are we going through that when the people don't want it? Whether weeping time was over there or not, and the people say we don't want that building there. Wow, you forcing it upon me. That's not good.
That's right. They're not listening to the citizens, the voters.
No.
They're not listening to anybody. They think that they were put there to make decisions on their own and not to govern for the people. And we just going to have to show them that that's not the way that it works through our vote, through our advocacy against it.
My theory may be wrong, but if you look at that corner from West Savannah all the way around up into the 5th District, Cloverdale, and where that arena is, all of that is just a plan to just tear the communities down so it's easy to come in and regentrify. But you're not getting the 5th District. You might get 1, 2, 3, or 4, but you ain't coming over here to 5. I tell you that.
Oh, they in the 5th. They in the 5th District too, brother. You might want to. I want you to know they in Carverville, not Carverville. They in Tatumville. They trying to buy up Tatumville. I get the letters from the piece of property I own in Tatumville. I get the letters. They in Tatumville trying to buy property, and Sylvan Terrace they trying to buy property, and the Stacy fellow Terrace they trying to buy that up too, brother.
Oh yeah. And by the way, going back to all the women,
y'all still there, Dr. Brian, Julian, I'm gonna tell you guys what's happening. It's becoming to be the second coming of Charleston. Charleston is 95% white and 5% black. And Savannah in 10 years will turn into that. I'm sorry, it's going to happen. We picked the wrong leader. They should not have been voted now. I said it then, and I'm still saying it. I'm going to do
Charlie for mayor.
All right.
Yeah, you might need to come on back to Savannah.
See, and what people don't understand is that, and I keep telling y'all, it's a district that people just don't know about. That district, they think it's just the 6 districts and the 2 at large. But listen, man, I'm telling you, it's a 7th district out there that y'all did in the city that is going to be the voice for all voices. Y'all ain't even got to worry about anybody that we say ain't gonna win an election. They will not win an election. You
But
can't come to, and I'm challenging. Come to, I ain't even getting into that.
Julius, the 7th district has to have a candidate to vote for, and that's all I'm gonna say. If we got to stop Julius. I say this all the time about you, RG. Me and you done had this conversation. RG, you change the narrative for the public service commissioner in this community by running. Win, lose, or draw, more people know in black communities, black circles, more people know in disenfranchised communities about the public service commissioner because you stepped up and did it. For decades, we have been allowing them positions to be transferred by power stroke. Julius Hall will give it to his child, and so on and so forth. That stuff has stopped because you know why? We're going to start running at these positions. It's not about politics. It's about running for these positions. And it's about making sure we have an agenda when we run for these positions.
But
I'm sorry, G.
you're right. No, what I'm gonna say is this, and I think we can close on this one. But hypothetically, you talking about races like governor. What about Mayor Savannah? You coming back to Savannah so we can line you up?
Jay Jones is living in Pooler, Georgia. If he runs for anything, it'll be related to Pooler, Georgia. Miss Jones is happier than ever before in the house we live in. And I refuse to move her, uproot her, and bring her back to Savannah to run in Savannah. I done lost my hair. I done lost all my black hair. I ain't coming back to lose my mind in Savannah, Georgia. I love my home, but my thing is if anybody else want to step forward and run, I will support them 1,000%.
The list is short.
Y'all got to, and my last word to everybody out there is that, don't confuse people's passion and fight with any mental disabilities. Don't confuse it with any racist tendencies. Don't confuse it with when they fight the way that they fight and say the things that they say with them wanting somebody else's position. They're fighting reason. They're fighting to better your life.
That's
And
right.
if you just stand by, they'll better your life. If you fight with them, something new is coming. Y'all just stand by. It's coming. Y'all will see it. We not only in Savannah and Garden City and Port Wentworth. We're just starting on the river. That's what it is. The river. We're coming inside. Pooler, Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt on the river too.
Garden City.
We coming. We
Y'all
coming.
can get
We
Vernon
coming all
Bird.
those places. So
They can have Vernonburg.
Y'all,
yeah.
They can have Vernonburg.
we
But
love
we
Vernon
coming.
Bird.
So
Vernon
y'all
Bird, we
just
love you.
y'all stand by. It's something coming, and we're gonna need everybody to be behind it.
Yeah,
All right.
well, my last point and statement is this, man. All this right here is rhetoric, conversation, and BS until we step forward and march for what's right and for the people. Until we start doing a diagnosis of those people who elect us, whether it be Port Wentworth, Pooler, Garden City, Savannah, Chatham County, or every area in this whole country. Until we start doing a diagnosis of those people who are our leaders and feel behind and pull back the sheets to see how they really sleep at nighttime, we're going to be bamboozled, we're going to be led astray and ran them up. And so what I do is I encourage anybody out there, and Judy's hit the nail on the head. We're changing this area whether you like it. So if Dave Simons is going to become a millionaire behind all this, trying to run bad candidates and everything like that, so be it. But it's not going to change what we're going to push out there because we're going to educate, enlighten, empower, and make people accountable for their actions moving forward. The days of just hiring and putting people in those positions are no more. Are no more. We're going to put people in those positions that are going to think about people and we're gonna call them out and call them to the table, because you know what, and that's right. But the problem is this: you just can't say table. You got to say the dinner table, or the table the decisions are making. Because what they would do is, in slave times, they had tables, but your table was in the outhouse. And guess what? That table meant absolutely positively nothing what was going on in the in-house. It wasn't until people started going in the in-house to figure out what was going on that table that changed the decisions for the whole plantation. And sorry, we still have a plantation mentality that exists in our community. And until we drop that mentality and we start thinking as forward thinking people, and stop saying that these Keisha, Leisha, Bernetta are fighting a fight that they can't win. We got to stop saying that. They're fighting the fight because guess what? Two of them represents all of Savannah, Georgia, and that's 54, 56% African American. So their voices should resonate about what the issues tied to African American. Because 56%. The problem is we've been fighting for that 20, 15% of the economic base that controls this community. And we have to stop that today. And the only way we can do that is by putting the right elected officials from the top all the way down to the bottom, and then turn around and forcing them to put people on committees, to put people in city management positions, and all those other things to make sure the narrative works for the people and not for the public dollars that we give away. And I'm just going to leave it at that, brother.
All right. Well, that does it, Julius. I think we hit a 2-hour mark, special edition. And appreciate you, Jay, as always, and all the woman, Gibson Carter. So I guess, Julius, you can take us out.
Okay, we thank you, Alderwoman Gibson Carter, for appearing on the show today. That concludes we got 2 minutes, and we're going to run it on down with, don't forget to tune in at 6 o'clock to Unity Political Action Committee with Dr. Reverend Leonard Smalls at 6 p.m. Don't forget to tune in 6 p.m. Dr. Smalls, and we'll take it on from there. 5 p.m. At 5 p.m. That's tomorrow. We have His and Her Perspective. We got a bunch of new shows coming also, so y'all just stand by. This is where you're going to get your news. We're going to make it all better. We're going to have a news program and everything for you, so you won't even have to look at that other news. We're going to get it for you also. So y'all stand by. We're going to do it all. And vote for Hall and Pope Wentworth.
That's right.
All right. We'll see y'all
Next week. All right.